It never troubles the wolf how many the sheep may be. Endure the present, and watch for better things. Do not yield to misfortunes, but advance more boldly to meet them, as your fortune permits you. Every calamity is to be overcome by endurance. As the twig is bent, the tree inclines. Love begets love, love knows no rules, this is same for all. It is easy to go down into hell, night and day, the gates of dark death stand wide, but to climb back again, to retrace one's steps to the upper air, there's the rub, the task. Come what may, all bad fortune is to be conquered by endurance. Hug the shore, let others try the deep. But meanwhile time flies, it flies never to be regained. From my example learn to be just, and not to despise the gods. If one swain scorns you, you will soon find another. He enters the port with a full sail. What region of the earth is not full of our calamities? The world cares very little about what a man or woman knows, it is what a man or woman is able to do that counts. If ye despise the human race, and mortal arms, yet remember that there is a God who is mindful of right and wrong. He like a rock in the sea unshaken stands his ground. Confidence cannot find a place wherein to rest in safety. Every man makes a god of his own desire. Who asks whether the enemy was defeated by strategy or valor? Better times perhaps await us who are now wretched. What each man feared would happen to himself, did not trouble him when he saw that it would ruin another. Go forth a conqueror and win great victories. I fear the Greeks, even when they bring gifts. Happy the man who has been able to learn the causes of things. Perhaps the day may come when we shall remember these sufferings with joy. Happy is he who can trace effects to their causes. Cease to think that the decrees of the gods can be changed by prayers. The descent to the infernal regions is easy enough, but to retrace one's steps, and reach the air above, there's the rub. O accursed hunger of gold, to what dost thou not compel human hearts? Myself acquainted with misfortune, I learn to help the unfortunate. The only safety for the conquered is to expect no safety. Let not our proposal be disregarded on the score of our youth. Age carries all things away, even the mind. Age steals away all things, even the mind. In strife who inquires whether stratagem or courage was used? Wherever the fates lead us, let us follow. One man excels in eloquence, another in arms. Perhaps even these things, one day, will be pleasing to remember. There should be no strife with the vanquished or the dead. Yield not to calamity, but face her boldly. They are able because they think they are able. Consider what each soil will bear, and what each refuses. Even virtue is fairer when it appears in a beautiful person. Love conquers all things, let us too surrender to love. I have lived, and I have run the course which fortune allotted me, and now my shade shall descend illustrious to the grave. Our fate, whatever it is to be, will be overcome by patience under it. Trust not too much to an enchanting face. Perhaps the remembrance of these things will prove a source of future pleasure. Your profession is not what brings home your paycheck. Your profession is what you were put on earth to do, with such passion and such intensity that it becomes spiritual in calling. At last I know what love is really like. Everyone is dragged on by their favorite pleasure. They attack the one man with their hate and their shower of weapons. But he is like some rock which stretches into the vast sea and which, exposed to the fury of the winds and beaten against by the waves, endures all the violence. Go on and increase in valor, for this is the path to immortality. If only Jupiter would restore me those bygone years. What a lot of work it was to found the Roman race. Is there so much anger in the minds of the gods? Not being untutored in suffering, I learned to pity those in affliction. They can conquer who believe they can. Look with favor upon a bold beginning. Live on in your blessings, your destiny's been won. But ours calls us on from one ordeal to the next. The noblest motive is the public good. A shifty, fickle object is woman, always. Varium et mutabile semper femina. If I am unable to make the gods above relent, I shall move hell. We are not all able to do all things. In his deepest heart there surged tremendous shame and madness mixed with sorrow and love whipped on by frenzy and a courage aware of its own worth. Endure and save yourselves for happier times. And, just for good measure, here are a handful of runners-up, for now the seventh summer carries you, a wanderer, across the lands and waters. Fear reveals base-born souls. Evil is nourished and grows by concealment. The greatest health is wealth. I feel again a spark of that ancient flame. The cursed hunger for gold. Ori sacra fames. She nourishes the poison in her veins and is consumed by a secret fire. May the countryside and the gliding valley streams content me. Lost to fame, let me love river and woodland. You, Roman, remember to rule peoples with your power. Tu regere imperio populos, Romain, memento. Mantua gave me birth, Calabria snatched me away, now Parthenope holds me. I sang of shepherds, pastures, and heroes. Mantua me genuit, Calabria repure, tenet nunc Parthenope, Cecini Pasqua, Rura, Duces. If I cannot bend heaven, I shall move hell. He is fortunate who had been able to learn the causes of things. Felix capatuit rerum cognoscere causas. Learn all from one thing. Abuno dis omnes. Each draws to his best loved. All these souls, after they have passed away 1,000 years, are summoned by the divine ones in great array, to the Lethean river. In this way they become forgetful of the former earth life, and revisit the vaulted realms of the world, willing to return again into living bodies. We have to thank God for this retirement. The wavering multitude is divided into opposite factions. Don't trust the horse, Trojans. Whatever it is, I fear the Greeks even bearing gifts. Equoani credite, tucri. Quidquid id est, timeo deneos edidona ferentes. Time bears away all things. The leader of the deed was a woman. Dux femina facti. Nunc scio quit sit amor. Lat, now I know what love is. They are able who think they are able. The hour is ripe, and yonder lies the way. Rumor goes forth at once, rumor than whom no other speedier evil thing exists. She thrives by rapid movement, and acquires strength as she goes, small at the first from fear. She presently uplifts herself aloft, and stalks upon the ground and hides her head among the clouds. Womankind is ever a fickle and a changeful thing. Impotent fury rages powerless and to no purpose. Enter on the way of training while the spirits in youth are still pliable. Passion and strife bow down the mind. A fickle and changeful thing is a woman ever. Happy the person who has learned the cause of things and has put under his or her feet all fear, inexorable fate, and the noisy strife of the hell of greed. Trust the expert. Experto credite. Harsh necessity, and the newness of my kingdom, force me to do such things and to guard my frontiers everywhere. Sing in me, Muse, of arms and a man, who first from the shores of Troy. It is well to be informed about the winds, about the variations in the sky, the native traits and habits of the place, what each locale permits, and what denies. Each man is led by his own liking. Yield not to evils, but attack all the more boldly. The flocks fear the wolf, the crops the storm, and the trees the wind. Fear is the proof of a degenerate mind. The accursed hunger for gold. I have known sorrow and learned to aid the wretched. Is it then so sad a thing to die? O you who have borne even heavier things, to these too, God will grant an end. Even virtue is fairer in a fair body. Angels boast ethereal vigor, and are formed from seeds of heavenly birth. That which an enraged woman can accomplish. In youth alone, unhappy mortals live, but, ah! The mighty bliss is fugitive, discolored sickness, anxious labor, come, and age, and death's inexorable doom. E'en in mid-harvest, while the jocund swain plucked from the brittle stalk the golden grain, oft have I seen the war of winds contend, and prone on earth infuriate storm descend, waste far and wide, and by the roots uptorn, the heavy harvest sweep through ether borne. As light straw and rapid stubble fly in darkening whirlwinds round the wintry sky. These passions of soul, these conflicts so fierce, will cease, and be repressed by the casting of a little dust. Their rage supplies them with weapons. Who can blind lovers' eyes? Time is flying never to return. We can't all do everything. The gates of hell are open night and day, smooth the descent, and easy is the way, but, to return, and view the cheerful skies, in this, the task and mighty labor lies. Love conquers all, let us surrender to love. Veiling truth in mystery. Fury itself supplies arms. The medicine increases the disease. None but himself can be his parallel. I shudder when relating it. Trust one who has tried. Your descendants shall gather your fruits. All things deteriorate in time. A fault is fostered by concealment. There's a snake lurking in the grass. Time flies never to be recalled. Fate will find a way. Time passes irrevocably. Such is the love of praise, so great the anxiety for victory. Thus shall you go to the stars. Love conquers all, therefore, let us submit to love. Fortunate is he whose mind has the power to probe the causes of things and trample underfoot all terrors and inexorable fate. Each of us bears his own hell. I sing of arms and of a man, his fate had made him fugitive. He was the first to journey from the coasts of Troy as far as Italy and the Lavinian shores. Across the lands and waters he was battered beneath the violence of the high ones, for the savage Juno's unforgetting anger. Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. There's a snake hidden in the grass. All our sweetest hours fly fastest. If I cannot move heaven, I will raise hell. Want of pluck shows want of blood. Trust not too much to appearances. A chaplet of leaves crowns the victor. Uneven numbers are the gods' delight. Whatever may happen, every kind of fortune is to be overcome by bearing it. I will be gone from here and sing my songs in the forest wilderness where the wild beasts are, and carve in letters on the little trees the story of my love. And as the trees will grow, letters too will grow, to cry in a louder voice the story of my love. Let us go singing as far as we go, the road will be less tedious. It is easy to go down into hell, but to climb back again, to retrace one's steps to the upper air, there's the rub. Cursed greed of gold, what crimes thy tyrant power has caused. Each person makes their own terrible passion their god. Trust not the horse, O Trojans. Be it what it may, I fear the Grecians even when they offer gifts. Amor vincit omnia, et nos sedimus amori. Love conquers all things, so we too shall yield to love. Roman, remember that you shall rule the nations by your authority, for this is to be your skill, to make peace the custom, to spare the conquered, and to wage war until the haughty are brought low. Una salus victis nullum sperare salutem, Latin, written 19 BC, the only hope for the doomed, is no hope at all. Love conquers all things. Then endure for a while, and live for a happier day. We may be masters of our every lot by bearing it. Yield thou not to adversity, but press on the more bravely. Persevere and preserve yourselves for better circumstances. Through pain I've learned to comfort suffering men. People are able because they think they're able. No day shall erase you from the memory of time. Others may fashion more smoothly images of bronze, I for one believe it, evoke living faces from marble, plead causes better, trace with a wand the wanderings of the heavens and foretell the rising of stars. But you, Roman, remember to rule the peoples with power, these will be your arts, impose the habit of peace, spare the vanquished and war down the proud. Persistent work triumphs. The Britons are quite separated from all the world. Maybe one day we shall be glad to remember even these hardships. That man is the most loyal who aims at the noblest motive, and that motive the public good. Easy is the descent to hell. All night long, all day, the doors of dark Hades stand open, but to retrace the path, to come out again to the sweet air of heaven, there is the task, there is the burden. Trust one who has gone through it. O you who are born of the gods, easy is the descent into hell. The door of darkness stands open day and night. But to retrace your steps, and come back out into the brightness above, that is the work, that is the labor. Endure, and keep yourselves for days of happiness. From a single crime know the nation. To have died once is enough. Audaces fortuna juvat, Latin, fortune favors the bold. Fortune sides with he who dares. Facilis descensus averni. The descent into hell is easy. Fear betrays unworthy souls. They can do all because they think they can.